Welcome back to the kitchen garden. We are finally back outside. I'm not too sure what this video is going to hold because it's a bit of a disaster zone coming out here. I have not been able to get out. It feels like weeks and weeks because of the rain. Since we got back from holiday early July, whenever it was, it's literally rained ever since. I think I said to you on a different video, we've had 2 days of sunshine, or not even sunshine, where it didn't rain. And I wasn't able to get out due to other commitments. So we're going to have a walk around. I'm in the greenhouse at the moment because I've got something I want to show you in here. But we're going to have a little walk around and just have a look at the disaster that is. So if you're here for a perfectly manicured vegetable patch, that's definitely not what you're going to get. We've had some celebrations and we've had some failures. So let's just have a look together. So basically what I want to get done at the moment is quick look around the greenhouse. Unfortunately, Stephen and I were out all day yesterday at a wedding. That's not what's unfortunate, it's what's coming that's unfortunate. And the chickens got in the greenhouse whilst we were out for the day. Nobody noticed, so it's a bit of a mess in here. And the whole plot has just been what feels like taken over again completely by weeds. And if you were with me last year and the year before, you know that I get to that stage where it all just becomes a little bit overwhelming, and I don't want that to happen this year. So what we're going to do in this video, have a look around, let's look at the damage, let's look what's good, what's not good, make a plan, and then we're going to come back and see how I get on throughout the week in other videos to see what the end of the week looks like, and hopefully we'll have got on top of it again. Can you see the chickens out there amongst all of the weeds on the car park as well? That's what the veg plot looks like. Anyway, I'm showing you the temperature. It's in here 17 at the moment. It was bit lower than that overnight, but let's have a look at what's going well. So these Big Mama or Super Mama, I can never remember which way around they are, Big Mama tomatoes are looking fantastic. I'm not going to have anywhere near as many as I hoped for in terms of plants, because I only had a couple of seeds for these ones. But what I think I'll do is take some of these side shoots and try and overwinter them. I'm not going to do that right now because I just need to have a walk around and understand what I've got to work with. They're looking fantastic. This aubergine plant is coming on really well. There's a tiny baby aubergine on there somewhere, but these need a good water, as you can see, looking very dry. So that might be a problem because the fruit that's coming might crack from watering it today, but I'm going to get that done just now. Now over here, look, you can see the gifts that the chickens have left me when they got in here. And this is the mess that they've been in these beds, kicked hell out of them. You can see over there, they've been dust bathing on the window where the windowsill's covered because they've been dust bathing in that bit there. Now these tomatoes, unfortunately, something's had these tomatoes, so these are probably realistically going to go to the pigs. We shall see. Depends. I'm not sure if these are starting to ripen actually because they feel more ripe now, so I might be able to get something off the bottom of them, but I have a feeling that was when this was on the ground, that was a mouse or something. But anyway, there's some other really good tomatoes coming in here. I've got my basket to harvest a few things today, so I will be getting these in. We will be cooking with them. But I had a nice surprise down here. There's an aubergine. Something's had a little go at that as well, but I can soon chop that off. So they're looking, I'm really pleased with them. However, before we went on holiday, I potted up some brassicas to overwinter, or for the winter rather. Look at the state of these. I kid you not. Can you see the culprits? There's one. There's some, you can't really see because it's blurry, some absolute monster caterpillars. So I'm taking them off as I see them, but oh my goodness, this was done over a week maybe. See, there's some in the middle of here. So I'm wondering, some of them, I mean, you know, there's growth, there's new growth on this one. Do I try and look, they're flicking everywhere, bloody things. Absolutely devastated about that, to be honest. We'll see. Pineapple sage is happy. Well, happy-ish. That needs a good water as well. I'm not going to do all this right now. Tomatillos, just, I'm not too sure about these. They're just not thriving. But anyway, that's the greenhouse. Could be a lot worse. So I'm going to get in here, do some work in here today. Well, over the next week or so. That's what we're going to make a plan for. So let's just have a really quick plot tour so that I can make a plan in my head of what needs doing. I genuinely have no clue what it is that we're going to be faced with. It's going to be a mess, so be prepared. You know, if that upsets you because you like everything to be nice and pretty, you know, skip to the next one, skip to the end when we've succeeded in what we're trying to achieve. Right, let's have a quick look round. I'm not going to go through everything, otherwise this will be hours and hours. Let's just have a quick look. These are the tomatoes that I just put quickly in buckets just so that they had somewhere to grow. There's some coming on there, and the same for these along here. We've got some, I thought that was one, it's the end of the hose pipe, and just some herbs, etc. along here. These will probably come out pretty soon because they're attracting flies. This is the parsley. Fantastic, that's doing really well, so I'm going to grow some of that now. In the weed of entrance to the polytunnel, I am thrilled at how these are doing in here. There are some absolutely amazing tomatoes coming. These are just fantastic. Let's just have a quick walk down here. It literally is a jungle in here. More tomatoes, thrilled. Look at that. Do you know, these, I'm pretty sure these are the moneymaker ones. And people say, oh, you know, they don't like growing them because they're tasteless, this, that and the other, but they are so productive, and I don't think they're tasteless when you grow them yourself. This nasturtium is clearly happily taking over, you know, just more tomatoes. Ground cherries, have we got one? They tend to be quite, here's one. No, not big enough inside yet, so we'll just give those a water. Let's go outside. So Stephen and I have had quite a lot of social engagements, which we don't normally have. I feel like I've said that quite a lot, but genuinely we don't normally have many social engagements. Everything's come at once. So we've been doing a lot of that combined with work, and then when the rain's been here, which has been pretty much, I honestly would say 95% of the time, I just literally haven't been coming out. I've been concentrated. It's survival mode, I guess is how you would say. So this week, fingers crossed, we don't have any other social engagements. So although we are working, I'm hoping that straight after work I'll be able to get outside and get all of this just knocked back into shape, because honestly, if it's like this longer than, well, by next weekend, I'm going to be struggling to deal with it, I guess. But I'm giving myself a week and then we'll get back on top of it. There's some beetroot here to harvest. Some of these can go to the pigs because they've gone to seed. No idea what happened to this kale. This one's happy, this one's sad, so I'll whip that one out. We'll get all these beds weeded. Some of these shallots that I said I was going to pull out, I never got to, so we will get those out. I don't know whether to harvest everything at once and then come through and just weed everything, or just do one bed at a time. So let me know, because to be honest, you'll be doing this with me. I'm going to try and get a few videos out so you can see the progress. More parsley, turnips that I sowed recently, strawberries. So I did come in here, there was pots all along here that were harbouring snails, so I got rid of those. The strawberry runners were all on the ground and I've just piled them on top, so they need seeing too. I was going to say caterpillars. Carrots, and then there's some more carrots sown in here. Must get that weeded so that the carrots can come on nicely. We've got some salad that's come in. We are harvesting from all of this, so it's not like it's not productive, it's just a flippin' mess. So we've got some nice salads and some red ones as well. Weeds galore. So the rain and now the bits of sun that we've had that we didn't get out for, weeds galore. Oh look, okay, more beetroot. These are swede along here, nothing in that back bit, that's where I harvested the garlic from, so we will get more seeds in there. Outdoor tomatoes, I'm looking for blight. We might be getting away with blight at the moment. Need to physically get in this bed and get in amongst the leeks. All of this is weeds around the leeks. Some comfreys come through that's not supposed to. And then the parsnips that I didn't think would come. So these are parsnip leaves here. Really pleased that we might get some winter veg from those. Tomatillos, won't be doing those in the shade outside again. I did know that would probably happen, but thought we'd give it a whirl. Now the cold frames, hang on. No, it's just the sun. The cold frames need repairing. Not even going to think about that at the moment. Stephen will be able to help me with that when he gets a chance. And also the whole generally, like the grass along here needs mowing, etc, etc. I'm going to work on just the beds. Sorry, the chickens that they better not be in the blooming greenhouse. No, he's over there. I'm going to close these doors. And this gate, because if they get in here, I suppose they'd help weed. Anyway, what was I saying? What disaster was I telling you about? Look at this, isn't this pretty? very pretty. So yeah, all of this needs mowing. We've got rosemary here, brambles are coming through, taking over, needs sorting out. Oh, and this is where eventually we're going to be getting that polytunnel. You will obviously have guessed, the fact we haven't even been out here, there's no progress on this other than, can't remember if I showed you the end result. There was a huge fir tree here and over there on the other side of that hedge. Stephen's taken those out in preparation for starting to take the box hedging out. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, all of this here, these fruit trees are all coming out. We're going to try and save them and replace, what's the word? Put them somewhere else, because we're putting a polytunnel here in time. Hopefully that's going to be done over winter. Let's see what happens. Right, goodness me. Look at the good stuff. The bay tree is looking amazing. I'll get a harvest off that, dry some out, but to be honest, we can use that all year round. Lavender, looking fantastic. Bees are happy. The bees are happy. I should be happy. Borage, didn't think any was going to come up this year. Oregano is flowering. I'm going to harvest this anyway. I don't know if the flipping cat sits on here, you know. It's always flat. Anyway, I'm going to harvest that, leaves and all. Sorry, not leaves and all, flowers and all. And I'm going to do teas and stuff with it. Rosemary. The apple mint that I chopped down, guess what? It's come back. I mean, you can't even see whether this bed finishes and that bed starts. That's how bad it is. So I'm actually in two minds whether to even show you all of this, because it really is like, this is not good. Let's do it, and then when it's all done you can see how amazing it is. Okay, deal? So the rhubarb is pretty much finished. I know some people are taking last pickings. I'll just get this tidied up. I've got a ton in the freezer. Currants were amazing this year. Raspberries, I will not be chopping them down again this year, because the bits that I didn't chop down, did a bit of a test there for those that can remember. They have been producing lovely. There's some really nice, let's see if we can find one. So there's some really nice raspberries that have come on there that we've had, and that produces really well, so I won't be chopping that down over the winter. Here are my 4 fantastic gooseberry bushes. Amazing harvest off them, all in the freezer again, because it literally happened as we were due to go on holiday. And you know, it's typical, isn't it? As soon as you can't do something, that's when it needs you. So all of those are in the freezer, which I will get to. I need to get a saw, as in literally a tool saw, to get this kale sorted out, because it's growing really well, but also it's become a little bit taken over. So I'm going to whip off some of these bits, and I think we'll just have the one stalk. I did check with Mr. Charlie Dowding, and he said that's absolutely fine. Rosemary is looking really well. Rhubarb, this is the other rhubarb that I put in. One on the right doesn't do so well as the one on the left, but again, we'll probably just maybe take 1 or 2 more stalks off that to tidy it up, and then leave it for the winter. Raspberries that we don't talk about. This bed here, I've got some sprouts in amongst the weeds. These little ones here are sprouts. One's been eaten, and at the back I've got the last bits of broccoli. We did have a good harvest of broccoli. It's in the freezer. There's potatoes at the back, for those of you that remember the disaster when I planted the broccoli and the potatoes, because I forgot that I put potatoes in. Those are looking like they might come okay. We need to check for blight actually on the other potatoes, but just look, we've got raspberries in the pathway. It's, oh my goodness me, just weeds. How on earth am I ever going to get on top of this? Okay, yeah, so this bed, to be honest, it's not too bad. These all can come out now, the broccoli, ready for the next things. I'm going to get some more winter stuff sown. The bloody strawberries this year, what a flipping disaster this bed has been. We got a few, but we got more from the little bed over there. This is just full of thistles. To be honest, this net that's on top of it, I think I'm going to have to sacrifice it, because I can't imagine everything that's grown through it. Oh, actually it's 2. Look, it's telling me it's 2 nets. Okay. So I might not have to, that might be okay. It might have just pushed it up. Strawberries are running off into the pathway. So here, this was, do you remember where I had the rhubarb path? All the way along here, the leaves, they've all just mulched into the ground. That's done a really good job. Random potatoes, I didn't put those in. Well, not this year anyway. Beans are coming up nicely. The trellis is working well. I'm going to lean over this hedge because I'm not going to walk down the side. We've got there's sardines in there as well. Thank you very much for sending me those. In here we've got peas and more beans. This will all be absolutely fine once it's been tidied up. I'm not sure if there's any harvests on there yet. I cannot get in. I mean, this is like, this hedge here where I'm talking to you from is above my waist, so even the hedges are taking over. Again, and I'm now thinking, just don't show people this, Tracy, just wait until it's done and then show them how fantastic it is. But this is the reality. So when you've got an allotment or a veg patch or something in your garden or anything in life, I guess, sometimes other things take over and take priority and you don't get to do it. Sometimes you simply don't have the energy to do it. When you're working full time, maybe you look after somebody, you know, there's a whole variation of reasons why people don't always get to do what they want to do or what they should be doing, etc, etc. So yeah, okay, we're just gonna get on with it. This is what it is. I am going to show you this video. I'm going to put it out for definite. It's a total disaster zone at the moment, but as I say, we'll work through it together and everything will be fine. These monstrosities are the Jerusalem artichokes. They are really up. There's borage here, which I do like having a scattering of borage around for the bees. So you can also, it's edible as well. Potatoes. Now, just looking while I'm talking to you on the camera, these look, although they look ready for harvest, they don't look like they've blighted, which I'm really pleased about because given the weird weather we've had, there's chocolate spots on them. So let me see if I can, this here. That's not blight. The stem looks unaffected, so hopefully we can have a nice harvest of potatoes. So if it was blight, I would expect to see all of this stem here as well as these leaves. I would expect the stem to be black from my experience of blight, because I have had it. In this middle bed here we've got yet more weeds, but we're moving on from those, remember. We've got some nice red cabbages coming. We love red cabbage, and the sweet corn is thinking about pushing up through the netting, so I'll just net the cabbages and let the sweet corn go. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, why don't you just get help, you know, get the family to help, which I will, and people will help. But also, you know, I'm quite happy just kind of plodding away, getting this done over the next week. They've got their own things to be doing as well. I won't be trying to do it all on my own or anything like that. But it also saves any arguments because everybody working together in this kind of disaster zone is tend to encourage one or two disagreements. And right at the back here, this is the comfrey that's next to, do you remember the lambs? The lambs' graves are behind there, and also the mint, and all of this has just been taken over. There are flowers under there. To be quite honest, this will not take long to whip out. It'll all be coming from one plant, the weeds there, and in between there's traditional garden mint there, which is looking lovely amongst all of the nettles. This gravel patch or mound is from where the fir trees were taken out at the bottom that Stephen did. So we're just keeping this because what we will do is just fill in any gaps that we've got in between the beds and things, and I might use it along these here. So we're just leaving that for now because again, we had to do that and we haven't got to it just yet. So in here we've got some cauliflower that were blown. We've got one that's edible for the animals. I've got some amazing cabbages, tundra I think those were, so I'm going to be having those. All of the rest of this can come out except the few pointed cabbages that we've got. There's a good few meals there for everybody, and some squash that are further behind than they should be, but at least they're there. And then at the end of these beds as well, there's some squash down here past these potatoes, in amongst the thistles. And we've got a squash plant here, and in that bed there. So there is an abundance of food coming, which I'm very thrilled about. We've had a fantastic onion harvest, we've had a fantastic garlic harvest, lettuce, the tomatoes, you know, we've been eating a fair bit. The cabbages, the greens and things from the garden, all of the fruit that we've had. So I'm by no means upset that we haven't had anything from the plot this year, because we've had plenty, but there really is a lot of work to do to get on top of it. So the plan is I'm going to get in here. I'm not going to kind of record every single thing. I'll do little snippets along the way of what I'm working on, because to be honest, updating you guys keeps me motivated and focused as well. And I don't want to put out being out here any longer, because it's quite easy to do, because you know, all you see is the weeds. So I'm going to just do little snippets of videos, update you to show you how we're getting along, and I'll just put small short videos out to keep myself encouraged and to keep you updated as we go along the way. So I really appreciate your support this coming week. I'm going to pop this video out now, probably just a really short one, and then hopefully the next ones will be, that aren't just small holding related. We'll be showing the movement as we get through this, and progression, that's the word I was looking for. So I'm going to go and get started.